Howdy folks, welcome back to another episode of RNP What Sold. This is for the last week of March and the first couple of days of April. Let's get right into it. This first one was a magnet, looked like a piece of wood. I actually got an email from a customer who said, I thought I ordered a magnet. I asked them to go test it, and then they replied by saying, oh, sorry, it is a magnet. So this Egyptian gold calf looking thing sold for $16.49. I had maybe 25 cents into it from a lot I bought a few months back. All right, this one right here was a retro, not a vintage, a retro t-shirt, I guess a repop of a 1980s shirt. It's a baseball style, 3/4 length, sleeve length. Sold for $25.98 within an hour. I probably underlisted the price on this one, but still happy to see it go that fast. All right, Patagonia, a brand that I probably sell more of than any other clothing brand, just because I have a lot of it, outerwear-based layers, whatever you want to call this one. So this one sold for $25.24. And the weather getting warmer, most of the country, most of the around here, these are selling more and more for me. Okay, next up, this is a board game, a vintage bookcase board game. Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers, not anything related to the movie because this was made in 1976, way before that movie came out, and made by Avalon Games. You see these vintage RPG type games, pick them up. I got this for, I think, around $7.50, and it sold for $60.02. It will kind of sit around most likely for a little bit. It takes the right buyer. This is a vintage game, and it's for someone that's maybe a little bit older, the pre-PC crowd or Apple, Mac crowd. But anyways, happy to see this go. I have several other similar vintage board games. So in my next couple videos, you may see some more in my What Sold. All right, next up, starting to see some Western clothing selling. Not as well as some other people are selling them, but Levi Strauss red plaid pearl snap shirt sold for $27.18. I have a lot of these. This is actually my very first bin, so happy to go. Had it for a while. All right, next up, this is Crooks and Castles. It's a sweatshirt. The tag was cut, so this one cut rate for this one. This one sold for $23 and all out the door. And so happy to see this one go because I think I took an offer or two, maybe two offers that didn't actually end up paying. And so let's move on. All right, next up we've got this is from the lot. I've sold a few of these before. These are kind of pewter little D&D type figures. I think I listed this as witch staff, crystal, and dragon figure. Sold for $38.76. The person actually messaged me that they were getting into D&D, and this was the first item they were buying, so I was happy to help them along their D&D journey. Dungeons and Dragons, not something I really played with as a kid, but I've read some of the books, and I certainly love picking up the stuff. And all right, next up, another comic book, something I don't really sell very much. I sold one last week, I think, and I had that in my video. This one, not so much of an expensive comic. This sold for $14.46. Another repop. This is a copy of an original. It says, Silver Age, but it's a Silver Age replica. It was still in the bag, and I got it for about $1 with a few other comics. I think it was from the year 2000. Yes, it's 2000 there. Anyways, $14.46. I'm happy to let it go for that, especially when I know very little about comics, trying to learn a little bit more. All right, next up, this is a kind of cool shirt, I guess. I'm trying to skip over the boring shirts. It's a Polo RLX Ralph Lauren US Open 2013 shirt, polo shirt. Sold for $20.98. I have 3 or 4 of these, I think, in different colors, different variations. So I was happy to see this one go because actually only listed maybe a week or 2 ago. So a pretty fast flip for me. All right, so here's an interesting one. It's a vintage t-shirt, and I listed it like a week ago. Sold for $50.69. The title of the shirt is Brothels of Nevada. And basically it's a Hanes 50/50 vintage shirt. Tag was all marked up too. Basically has a map, I guess, of the Brothels of Nevada on the front of it. And it looks like an early 80s tee. And it sold nearly immediately for $50.69, like I said. So I was happy to see this one go on its way. All right, so let's skip a couple of these boring ones now. All right, here's a little bit more interesting item. This was a vintage Star Wars figure, Imperial Commander, with its little accessory there. Sold for $27.54. I was hoping to get more for this one, but like I said in my previous video, this is from a lot of about 20, 30 of these. I bought the whole lot for 35 bucks, I believe. So, I mean, selling all of the figures from between 20 and like $50. So I should tally up the total so I know. I'll go back and maybe I'll make another video about that. But happy to see this one go. That guy emailed me originally offering me, I think, $15 and then asking me about the condition. I didn't respond right away, and then he ended up just paying. So, you know, sometimes that happens. All right, picked up a lot of like matchbooks a long time ago, and they have sat. This is actually part of that lot, but it's not actually a matchbook. It's a souvenir mending kit, like a sewing kit. It's from a hotel. What is this? I'm not even sure what hotel this is, but it's somewhere in Reno, Nevada. But anyways, this sold for $11.50. It weighs next to nothing. It's a tiny little thing. I have pennies into it. And I have a bunch of other similar items. So you may see some more. These have, to be honest, been sitting for a while. So I might just blow them out in a big lot. All right, next up, this is a Disney magical fish hook toy for Moana. It was still sealed in the packaging, and I pressed it. It's purple there because if you press on the button, it lights up. So that's what that purplish color is. $64.59 this sold for. I actually have another one. I think my daughter has this item upstairs in her bedroom, and so it was funny picking this one up and like, hey, I bought that before. So anyways, I bought this for $4.99 at the Thrift, and happy to see it go within, I want to say, about 6 weeks to a month to 6 weeks. $64.59 out the door. All right, let's go into some Amazon orders. Just a basic video game here. What was it? Quantum of Solace 007, James Bond. Disc only. This one sold for, how much did we sell for? $20.82, including tax and shipping. Disc only, and disc was not in great shape. It had a little bit of minor wear, so hopefully this one doesn't come back anytime soon. Okay, next one up. This is Lala Loopsy. I have these 3 figures here, dolls. They're kind of like big-headed, heavy, relatively heavy for plastic dolls. A lot of 3 sold for $30 out the door, including shipping. Promoted listings this time. I'm doing a lot of promoted listing sellings. So this one have had probably for 6 to 9 months. And it's not usually something I pick up. I think I picked this up, all 3 of them, for $1.99 in a bag. You know, one of those plastic see-through bags hanging on the racks there at the thrift store. So $1.99 to $30. Happy to see that one go. All right, this one right here is a lot of 2, I believe they're Enchanted Evening Fashion Barbie dolls. One's blonde, one's brunette. These are vintage, but these are actually a repop. The original ones, if you look closely, I believe were from the early 60s or maybe the late 50s, early 60s. Those would be worth a ton of money. These still sold for $66.03. I had about $10 into them combined, and so I was still happy to see this one go. But originally I thought, oh wow, I've stumbled upon something very expensive. These are not. If you look on the back of the neck, I believe it will say something like 1996 or 1994, something like that. So be careful when you pick up Barbie dolls, because one thing, the mold is reused, so that year may not be wrong. And for this one specifically, like I said, it's identical looking if you don't pay attention to the one from the 60s, but there are differences. This is definitely not the vintage one. This is just a 90s version. All right, let's skip a couple more shirts here. Let's skip that one too. This is just a Nike dry fit half zip jacket, sold for $41.01. I have a ton of these. I sell these all the time, year round. So they kind of sell, doesn't matter if it's spring, winter, fall, summer, whatever. Because they're kind of running jacket, warm-up jackets. They're pretty light. And $41.01, and I have about $2.99 into this one, and I have a ton of them, like I said. All right, here's a weird one. This is an adult action figure. Jenna Jameson, was a Plastic Fantasy, sold for $66.04. Now, if you see these figures, they go for sometimes upwards of $100, $200. This one had crushed packaging. It was actually a return. I actually had this on Amazon FBA for a while. Came back to me and they did their awesome job of packaging without packaging and sent me back a giant box with nothing but the item. So it got crushed. And so I was happy to see this go. It's been sitting for a while. Like I said, it's a very particular item. Be careful if you list this, you have to list this in, I believe, the over 21 or over 18 section on eBay. But I'm not even sure if I listed it there, to be honest. But anyway, $66.04. Happy to see that one go. All right, this one right here, a vintage San Francisco 49ers Logo 7 sweatshirt, sold for $25.24. And this one had a stain I could not get out of it because it was on the white part. It kind of came out a little bit, but it looks kind of gray if you zoom in on it. So it sat for a while. I love Logo 7 stuff, but I believe I've done better with the t-shirts and the hats than like the sweatshirt type things, especially now, the warmer weather now. So I was happy to let it go because it may have sat for another 3 to 6 months until the colder weather came back or comes back. All right, here we go. This is a Snow White Disney Skybox set of cards from 1993. Came with a plastic case. Bought this for $2.99 with several other movie-related Disney sets. I think I had like a Toy Story one, and I think an Aladdin one as well. This sold for $56.83 for a $2.99 investment. I was happy with that. Did sit for a while, probably over a year, I'm guessing. And then, but $56.83, and it's going first class, so not bad ROI. Okay, let's skip a few more here. This next one is an action figure, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's I'm not even sure if it's an official or if it's actually kind of a custom type figure, but because it was loose, no accessories, no packaging. Sold for $38.37. And I've had this one for over a year as well. My figures sit for a long time until the right buyer comes along. So anyways, this one right here, I was happy to see it go because, like I said, it's been sitting for a year. And next up, got a set of, these are Pokemon cards, but not your average ones. These are from Burger King. They're trivia cards. I believe this is Trivia Nintendo, so I'm guessing there's some kind of Nintendo logo on the cards. Only 10 cards from 1999. So for $27.25. I picked these up for, I think, 99 cents at a thrift store. They're one of those bag things. And I just saw Pokemon and I saw the year. I don't know anything about Pokemon cards, but I picked these up. Not in the best shape. They're not like graded or not in mint condition, but happy for $1 to $27.25. That's good for me. All right, next up, another Western wear shirt. This one, I'm surprised it went, it's kind of a boring looking shirt. Again, from my original box, I can see the number 1 there on my tub number there. $24.43. Pearl snap shirt, starting to come back. Maybe it's the warmer weather, I don't know, but happy to see it go. All right, next up, let's skip. Okay, this is a little bit more interesting. A vintage John Blair menswear 1970s polyester leisure suit jacket. Now that's a mouthful. It's kind of like a butterfly collar shirt jacket. It's not really a jacket. It's a very thick shirt. Sold for $39.22. I had a couple of these, and that's a very distinct look. So whoever's gonna wear this is, gonna tap into their internal Saturday Night Fever, I guess, the John Travolta vibe. Anyways, all right, so I had about $1 into that one, just so you know. Okay, next up, another action figure. This was from Grindhouse. It's a NECA, who was it? Rose McGowan from Planet Terror. It was actually glued to the base there. I don't know if you can tell. So I couldn't take that off. This one sat for, I want to say, 18 months, a long time. Sold for $40.33. It was missing. I believe she has a gun that's supposed to come with this. And like I said, because it was glued to that base and I couldn't take it off, I think that may have, put people off a little bit. So I don't know. I would have preferred to have it so it wasn't like custom like that, but I got it with a lot, so it was what it was. All right, let's skip a few more and then we'll be done. Next up, I've got a tank top. I'm doing a lot more tank tops now. $26.95 for a SoCal skater surfer type tank top. Happy to see that one go. I have tons of these, again, for about 50 cents to $1. And this time of year, they're going more and more and more. Okay, another Barbie doll type figure. This is Ken, vintage Ken. This is, I'd say, mid to late 80s. Vintage doll, pretty bad shape. It was kind of, I don't know if it was melted or if it was like gluey. It was kind of, I tried to clean it off, but it's kind of, yeah, not in the best shape. But the clothing was what sold it, to be honest. It sold for $38.07. It's got, I believe, like kind of like the stonewash, acid wash type jeans and a very 80s type jacket and shirt. So sometimes I sell those individual pieces, the jacket, the pants, the shirts, without even the doll. So this one was a cool one. Happy to see it go. Okay, still selling sweaters, which is weird. This was a, I don't even know what this is, Boutrick 42 Gosh Max sweater. I listed as a grandpa sweater. I've had this for, I think, not this past one, about 15 months, I'd say. So the winter before last. Sold for $24.24 out the door. I like vests, sweater vests, because they are light. They're less than a pound, so you can send them first class. So this one is going first class. And it's a German vintage type sweater from what I could gather looking it up beforehand. Okay, next up, I've sold this and I may have had it in one of my videos before. Playmates Tartaruga. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles garbage truck, it looks like. $39.61. Missing pieces, definitely missing the box and manual and whatever else. I picked these up a lot. $2.99 into this, $39.61 out the door. That's a good sale for me. Okay, just a couple more and then I'll let you guys go. This is from a lot that I picked up. I want to say 6 weeks to a month ago. I sold it. I had another one of my previous videos, King's Quest. And it's from 1998, the big box version, $21.25 out the door, 99 cents into this one. So that was very cool. Used, not new, but the other ones are going for like $15, $16, $12. So I was happy with that one right there. Okay, and let's do 3 more. How about that? Nike shoes right here. Some old Nike Shocks. I don't sell that many shoes. These sold for $61.23. Used pair of white. Size 9, so an okay size, but a kind of a bland color. So I'm really happy to get these out the door. I have a bunch of these white Nike Shocks, which I probably won't be buying in the future because people prefer colors. Even if it's just, you know, a darker color, that's fine. The neon type colors do the best, like even red or neon blue, pink, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But happy to see it go. Okay, this shirt just came back to me yesterday. It's a Nike dry fit neon yellow hoodie. Sold for $56.69 again. And it's a size small, so not even a good size. It came back to me just yesterday. I just relisted it. And originally, I don't think it sold for this much. And so it's going back out the door immediately on Monday morning. So happy with that. All right, and last for today, we've got some Activewear cutoff workout gym type shirts. These 2 are going to Canada. They're both sweatshirt cutoffs. I took best offer on these. I had these up for a lot more. So at $147.14 for the 2 of them, including shipping. Now, out of that, about half of it was the cost and about half of it was listed as the shipping. So I'm going to be doing something with the person to cut down the shipping a little bit. So it's going to be less than this. But $147.14 for, I had 99 cents into both of these. Happy with that. Pick up cutoff sweatshirts, especially if these 80s type sweatshirts, Gold's Gym, random local gyms. They have cool colors, cool designs. Like you got the black and the neon pink here. You got the aqua on this one. So pick those up if you see them. They go year round for me. And it doesn't even have to be just Gold's Gym. These both, I hadn't heard of these gyms, but people like it, and 80s is hot right now. So anyways, if you like this video, please Take a look at our past What Sold videos. Also, if you haven't yet, if you could subscribe, that would really help me out. Comment, leave us a thumbs up, and hit that bell notification so you can see when we put up the next videos. And if you do like this type of content, we also do a morning show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do a show with my buddy Leroy, Blood, Sweat, and Sell. And we just list and chat and talk about reselling. So until the next one, thank you very much for being here. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Reseller Niche Podcast. Show notes and social media links are located at resellerniche.com. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.